You are now tuned into TTB Crime Watch.
Cousins, the following story is diabolical. And of course, it is a story coming out of the abode of the damned, the land of the abyss, the infernal regions, aka Florida. Like, why is it always Florida? What is in that Florida water? Huh? Huh? Last year, Jesse Stone was a typical 14-year-old boy in Reddick, Florida, who was living with his grandmother and attending summer school. Now he's most likely headed to prison for a very, very long time.
Body camera footage from the early morning hours of June 9th, 2024 shows deputies showing up to a 91-year-old woman's home after she called to say she had been assaulted.
Okay, I'm up here in Reddick. I'm at a house. A 91-year-old lady calls in saying she was just raped. We get on scene. She's beat up really bad.
Now, it was early in the morning, the skies were still dark, and this was a terrifying phone call. Like, who would do this to a 91-year-old woman?
Deputies started walking the property looking for clues or someone possibly hiding in the shadows, while others started securing the crime scene.
But we'll just get some tape. We'll lock down the house. Once she shoots out, we'll wrap it up. Okay. Start a crime scene. I got evidence coming, major crimes coming. Canine's coming, one's coming.
Who do you want to go with her to the hospital?
I don't care, as long as someone goes. I mean, if you talk to her, that's fine. Being it's a female, maybe Alyssa can go a little bit more comfortable.
There was that lady's moved out of the way, right?
The one that was with the phone.
Yeah.
Hey, have the neighbor with the phone step out of our way.
Now, this is a very, very disturbing and serious case. So all hands were on deck in solving this matter because, the rest of the neighborhood could be in serious danger with this sick individual on the loose.
So she saw a shadow approaching her, and all of a sudden he just started wailing on her. She's significantly injured in her face and got a big gash on her arm. She's 91 years old. So she says that the guy sounded Hispanic and he was telling her to be still and penetrated her with his fingers. And she said that he felt like he was not erect, but maybe trying to be. She said it lasted about 15,
That's her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she says he never took off his pants.
She said he never took off his pants and it lasted about 15-20 minutes, and he left about 5 to 10 minutes prior to us going 97.
Not grandma said they sounded Hispanic. Not little Jesse disguised his voice and pretended to be Tony Montana. Granny said hello to my little. But I do have questions. He never took off his pants. So what was he doing? Dry humping Granny for 20 minutes, huh? I am confusions. Now, cousins, the term 97 is part of a police code, meaning that deputies have arrived at a call.
Collecting and preserving evidence is obviously going to be very important in this case, and it appears plenty of evidence was left behind by this twisted perpetrator.
I'm sorry, I didn't know evidence was coming out. I gave Christian the dress and the underpants, 2 separate bags.
That's fine.
There's no, anywhere, when you walk around the house, no evidence of, her falling or anything. So everything she's saying is adding up. Everything is on her bed. Blood everywhere on her bed.
The neighbor said that only Hispanics that she knows is right across this road right here on this side.
Police are still looking for evidence and a suspect, but they also want to know if any of the neighbors saw anything.
Not obvious.
What's going on?
Hey, did you see anybody run through here or anything?
Not to my yard, but I went in the house at 9:30 to eat dinner.
Okay.
And came back out with my son and said he saw all the cars coming up here.
Okay.
And I was sitting there for a minute. And
Your son live here too?
Huh?
Your son live here too?
Yeah, my son lives here. My daughter and son-in-law are down here from West Virginia on vacation.
Okay.
There was a car earlier that came up there, like when it's still daylight out there, but I think that was one of her friends.
Okay.
I think it looked familiar, like I've seen the car before.
Okay.
But nobody's been in my yard because I got dogs out and stuff.
Right. Okay.
She okay?
I hope.
I mean, I've known this lady since I was 10 years old.
Okay. I mean, it appears somebody was over there messing with the house, so.
That lady's daughters wanted her to move so many times out of here, too. She kept saying no, no, no.
All right.
Later that day, the deputies spoke to more neighbors.
I was out in the back working in my shop. I guess when all this was going down, I never heard nobody yell or anything. That's what was weird.
During the night?
Yeah, last night. I didn't come in till 9:30. Came back outside, and then my son said all these lights thrown up the road. That's when I came back out and talked to you.
Did the deputies talk to you last night?
I gave them my name and stuff. Yeah, they just said, "Did you see anything?" I said, "No, I didn't see nothing." And they can't come through my yard because them two are out.
Sure.
Unless they jump fences. So.
Okay. Do you guys have video surveillance?
No, I got a set, but I don't have them up there. I'm crippled, so I've been trying to.
Now, cousins, what the 91-year-old victim told the police was extremely diabolical. You know, side note, I really like that word, diabolical. I don't know, it feels so good to say, like, diabolical. You know? Anyways, according to the court documents, when the defendant jumped or pounced on top of her, she began to fight him by trying to push him off. Then he struck her face with his fist. Listen, let me tell you right now. Granny said she wasn't going out without a fight. Okay. Granny said this is top tier Pearl Harbor bunny. Okay. And you got to have the nuclear codes to gain access. Okay. Granny said if your last name ain't Fitzgerald, Ford, or Reagan, or Bush, you simply cannot touch this.
During the investigation, detectives had encountered a 14-year-old boy named Jesse Stone in the neighborhood and noticed a red stain on his clothes and asked to get a swab. His grandmother consented to that request in order for the police to get a DNA sample. 8 days later, after the assault, the detectives received the results, which showed that Jesse Stone's DNA was left on the 91-year-old victim. They brought Jesse into the sheriff's office in handcuffs, where they sat him in a room isolated for quite a while.
Man, you doing all right? You need anything? All right, Jesse, I'm Ryan, and we're going to come in here and talk to you just a little bit, okay? We're waiting for your mom to get over here, just so we can all be here and talk and figure out what's going on, all right? Okay. You sure you don't want water or anything? Okay. If you need some, just give this door a little knock, all right? Okay.
Jesse was in the room for more than 2 hours when they gave him a blanket. It was likely cold in that room with the AC on blast. It is Florida in June, after all. Later on, they relocated Jesse to the interview room, where his grandmother, who is raising him, showed up.
Jesse, I'm going to ask you some questions. It might seem a little bit weird, but this is just to help me understand and to make sure that I'm on the same page as you. So, do you understand the difference between a truth and a lie?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what the truth means to you.
The truth is what actually happened.
Okay. And what's a lie mean?
Something that's made up or not true.
Okay.
The police officers read Jesse his rights, and then they asked him about being out in the neighborhood the night the elderly woman was assaulted.
Do you remember that night? So when I showed you that video of you walking, so that would have been late Saturday night.
Yes.
Do you remember everything that you did that night?
Yeah, I couldn't go to sleep, so I got up and I headed down the road to watch the cars that are coming from the concert. I've watched them, the cars looking for modified vehicles for a while, and then I went walking across the street for, I'm guessing, an hour before I came.
Okay.
So you heard there that the detectives had seen Jesse on video in the neighborhood. They also met him in the neighborhood. Then Jesse talked about seeing the victim hours before she was assaulted, which is something the victim had already told the detectives, that the boy she knew as Randy John had stopped by earlier that day.
Where was she at?
On the front porch, sitting in her rocking chair in front of the door.
Okay, gotcha. So what was the last time, like, before then, when you had seen her, or I guess talked with her, like, kind of like you did that day?
The last time I'd seen her before that was probably about, I want to say a week and a half before. She was driving down the road from like church or something.
Oh, okay.
And she just stopped and said hi real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, do you remember the last time, like, my understanding when we spoke the first time, and correct me if I got this wrong, that you, when you were younger, you used to go over and talk with her quite a bit.
Yeah, I'd go over, talk, help her.
The officers then asked Jesse if he had ever been in certain parts of the victim's home, and this leads to their big gotcha moment during the interrogation.
So she's never asked for your help to do those types of, like, household chores, or like laundry or whatever? Okay.
No, I've helped with the laundry machine, but not to do laundry.
Not like you've never done her laundry for her bed sheets or anything like that?
No.
You've never, like, taken a nap or slept in any of her bedrooms or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Do you remember if you've ever been in any of those bedrooms?
No.
No?
No. I've never been in any room other than the living room, kitchen, the bathroom.
Okay. Well, Randy Dunn, I think you probably know that I wouldn't ask that question unless I had a reason to.
Okay.
So, I'm just going to be honest with you because, I mean, I feel like you've been mostly honest with me. And I know your mom's been honest with me. Is it okay if I call you his mom?
Yeah.
Guardian? Okay, I don't mean to.
It's okay, yeah.
But when I came over to you on, I think that was Sunday, and I was asking you about your clothes and the video and such, and I explained that I wanted to get your DNA because I knew that you had been over there before because you mentioned, like you told us today, that you had talked with her. So I knew that you're, at the very least, there would be evidence of you being in the porch.
Yeah.
Right? So I went and met with your mom, and you guys signed a consent form, and we got your DNA.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we sent your DNA and the sex kit up to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, who does the testing stuff for stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay, is there any reason at all that your DNA would be on her clothes?
Yeah, we when I said goodbye to her, we hugged, like a side hug.
Okay.
That's...
Let me be a little bit more specific. Your DNA was on her underwear.
What?
And so I want you to really use this time here to be honest with me about what happened that night, because I think that we know what happened, and I think that your mom knows what happened because she also wrote down a list of times that you went in and out of the house that night, to include the time that the call came in. And I think you probably know that you wouldn't be in here unless we had a good reason to put you in.
I don't see... What?
It's not about C, Randy John. It's truth.
Yeah,
Truth.
It's impossible for my DNA to be on her underwear.
That's what we like to think too, brother, but that stuff doesn't lie, that stuff doesn't get made up. And sometimes the truth can be hard. You seem like a really good guy, man. You seem like you got a good head on your shoulders, you make connections with people that need help, you go out there and you help other people. And there's people out there sometimes that make mistakes.
I'm gonna come over here and I want to make sure.
It doesn't make you a bad person for making a mistake.
Jesse tried it, okay? Not your DNA was on her because you gave her a side hug. You saw how you did a side hug. Jesse tried it and they gagged him. Like his reaction when they told him that his DNA was on her underwear was priceless. You're going to jail, you little demon, you little nasty. And this makes me wonder if Jesse was also secretly watching his own grandmother, who at the time was his legal guardian, getting dressed and taking showers. I wouldn't put it past him. And I wonder if the detectives checked his phone for Granny Corn. Yeah. Check his Pornhub search history. I just know it's diabolical. Okay. But as you all just saw, the detectives pulled out photos showing Jesse Stone what had been done to the victim as if he didn't already know.
Well, we just need to understand, like, who is Randy John, man? Because I don't. And we don't think that was the intention. But we need to understand what happened, man.
Randy, I want to be real clear with you. We know what happened. What I want to hear from your own words, everything that went on that night.
God. Holy cow.
I want to know why this happened.
Randy, help us understand, man.
Randy, look at me for a second. You did this exact same thing when I asked you about you walking down the road or jogging down the road at 11 o'clock. And you did the whole, I don't remember, and I was like, and you finally admitted to it. And I think this is the exact same thing. I know what happened. And it's only going to help you for you to be honest with me about what happened. Because like I said, we know what happened because we have your DNA at the crime scene.
Like you said, it's not like we're talking about a sweater that it was found on. It's in this elderly woman's underwear. What are you thinking, man? We're putting everything out here, and you're kind of just looking at all this, man. I know it might be a shock, but what are you thinking?
I'm overly confused.
What are you confused about?
I wasn't even near her house. I was across the street.
A whole hour. You were gone.
Yeah. I said I was gone for about an hour.
We don't think that was the intention. You know, that nice cop was doing the most, and they're always doing this, the good cop versus the bad cop. Like, sir, let's not play games. That was Jesse's intention. Jesse was on the hunt for 16th century punani, okay? And he wanted it by any means necessary. It's a sickness. The boy is sick and twisted. It's giving electric chair, okay? There is simply no saving him. And you know what's really diabolical about all of this? Give it 30 years and Jesse, well, he'll be elected into the U.S. Congress.
Mom, I don't know if you want to have a couple minutes to talk with your son. Randy, I want you to think real long and hard about everything that happened. And I want to do this, listen, more than I want to have the truth from you about what happened, because I know that you know what happened, I want to do this for her. If she is as an amazing of a person as you say she is, and I believe you because I've talked with her, getting all of this out in the open for her is what matters.
She deserves the truth to be told, and you know it. Personally, I can't believe that this is a horrible thing with you, John. That's a horrible thing.
I don't even have the ability to do that.
Well, it's hard for me to believe too. It's really hard for me to believe too that you would do a thing like this.
I didn't.
But how many times have you been caught in lies?
I know.
And this is the whole reason why you're on restriction. It's because you're not telling the truth about things. If this woman deserves to have the truth, she deserves it, and you know that.
What?
And don't say why's, Ready John, because why doesn't exist here. I wasn't at her house. Ready, John? It's across the street. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her face. That's I don't even think like that. I've never seen you hurt anybody, but I don't want to hurt anybody. What the hell are you doing outside at that time of night? It doesn't make any sense. Do you understand? Ready, John, it doesn't make any sense. There's a million different things you can do. Being outside where you don't belong, and you know you don't belong out there. I'm sorry, but I'm an outdoorsy person. You're not an outdoorsy person. You're a sit in front of the TV kind of guy. But I don't have TV. I'm outside. Well, I don't know. I hope and pray you did not do this to this woman. I hope and pray. I hope and pray you did not do this. Because this is horrific. This is a human being. And she deserves justice. She does. If this would have happened to your sister, what would you do? Murder whoever did. If you know anything about this, Randy John, for her at least, if you care about her, tell the truth. Tell the truth. You know, we've been down that road before where you've been lying about something and you swear up and Randy John, you've lied about stuff before.
I just got done talking to your mom and she said that, I mean, you're 14, right? I think every 14-year-old's got had some thoughts about what a woman's like and things like that, and I heard that you've been kind of exploring. Is that what's going on, man? The thing is, Grandma's got no reason to lie to me, and you have no reason to lie to me about that either. That's totally normal and totally fine. So is that something I heard you taking Grandpa's phone and taking a look at that?
No, I don't do it on Grandpa's phone. I haven't been able to do it since I had my computer because she takes everything away.
Yeah. Well, is it true that you were looking at some of that stuff? Like I said, it's totally normal, man. Okay. And like I said, and I think like Detective Hardigan said, it's totally normal to want to find out about these things, especially for someone. It seems like you really truly cared about this woman.
Yeah.
And maybe you just wanted to figure out what was what, man.
What it was like. Maybe you went into there, you didn't expect her to be awake. And so you freaked out. And panicked. Because that's what it looks like. Is that this was and then maybe you just walked around not expecting her to, maybe you just wanted to knock her out. You didn't think you would hurt her this bad. Mm-hmm. And then you got out of there.
Because what we're trying to figure out, Randy John, is like Detective Hardigan said, like we're pretty certain of what happened. Mm-hmm. What we're trying to figure out is Randy John the kind of guy that breaks into people's houses with axes and chops them up into pieces and leaves them and murders them? Or did Randy John just make a mistake? Did he go into a house and expect this 91-year-old woman to be sleeping and maybe figure out something about life, and then things just went awry? Because thing is, people panic, man. And people do things that they don't mean and they don't want to do when they panic.
Okay. So let me get this straight. So Granny, his legal guardian, had this hormonal boy on lockdown because he's a pathological liar. And then she put him on severe restrictions, took away his access to his electronics, including his TV. And instead of Jesse, I don't know, using his imagination like everybody else to pleasure himself, he decided to take matters into his own hands and go after an elderly lady so he can have it his way. Now, after hours of interrogation, Jesse would finally confess. Now, his confession is redacted under Florida law, so you will not be able to hear it.
honestly, Randy John, I feel like you probably wish that this had never happened. Like, I honestly still believe that you never really intended to hurt. Because you care about her.
Yeah, I don't intend to hurt anyone.
So, how old were you when you started watching?
My friend showed them to me when I was 10.
10. So you've been watching them since you were 10?
Off and on, yeah.
Okay. How often do you think you were watching them before you got put on restriction?
Once or twice a week.
Okay. And what kind of stuff were you watching? Looking at pictures? Were you watching videos?
A mix of both.
A mix of both? Okay. And what site did you normally use? And that's all it's called? You just put that into Google?
Yeah, it was the website my friend showed me.
Okay.
Jesse Stone pleaded guilty to the charges back in December, and he will be sentenced next month. He is now 15 years old. Thanks for watching an episode of TTB Crime Watch. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to all things TTB Network.